my summer in the San Jacintos. Well, I can just, well, it's about 5:40, I guess, in the morning, and still pitch black. But off on the horizon, in the far distance, I can just barely see a hint of a violet, blue, purple color on the other side of the mountain. So I think probably another 20 minutes, it'll probably be light enough to see the trail without using a light, my headlamp. So, but anyway, I'm getting there. This first section is always tough, especially in the morning when you haven't eaten a really good breakfast and you're not ready for it yet. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm getting there. I can feel the breeze picking up. I had to take my jacket off back there, and right now it feels pretty good. So, I'm getting there. Well, as you can see, the sky is getting a little bit lighter. But what I noticed was, I can say these birds keep flying right by my head in the middle of the night. What bird is up in the middle of the night? And then I got a pretty close-up view of one of them as it flew really close and hovered for a second. It's not a bird. It's a brown bat. So the bats are out this morning. They must have a little cave somewhere where they're flying in and out of looking for insects. And there's a lot of moss flying around my headlamp when the headlamp is on. And I think that's what they're after. The moths are coming to the light. The bats are coming to the moths. All along the Devil's Slide Trail on the way up to the fire tower. I have to look for those again. I never noticed that before. Anyway, I'm getting there. I can see a Suicide Rock off to my left, but it's I'm not quite toward the top level height-wise with that, so I got a long way to go still. All right, well, here's my first glimpse of the sun coming up to the west along the Devil's Slide Trail. That in the distance is looking toward the outside edge of the Palomar Range, and off to the right of that would be Hemet, San Jacinto area, and Idlewild is down there in the valley. But I gotta go this way. Remember I was telling you about the bats? There they are. A whole swarm of them. They're going somewhere. Coming back over this way. It's like they're going home to roost. I didn't know we had that many up here. It must be a place for them over there somewhere in the rocks. It'd be kind of curious to come up here right at dusk or daybreak and see where they're coming from as they're flying around looking for insects. Well, I'm taking a few minutes here to refamiliarize myself with the map. And I mean, I know all the cardinal points, but you could never not have enough practice on map reading. And when I was in the military, when I was in the Army, over 40 years ago, believe it or not, they issued us this book. It's called Don't Get Lost, How to Travel in the Best Circles in a Square World. And this book, you figure, most people, at least in my day, people that joined the military, they usually weren't the college-bound people. They weren't the smartest ones out there. So that's why they joined the military. And they issued this book, and this book has got graphics on it that look like they're made for a third grader. But I tell you what, I've never seen map reading and compass use explained at such a basic level where anybody can understand. If you ever get a chance to find one of these books and you're interested in map reading, try to get one of these Don't Get Lost books. You can probably find them on eBay, I imagine. But anyway, all the fire stations are, all the CAL FIRE Forest Service people are all going in service right now. All the different engines are going Yeah, they're all going in service from all over the region here in the San Bernardino region. So that's what you'll be hearing in the background while I'm doing this. But anyway, the one thing that they show you how to use is one of these grid squares, a little plastic acetate or whatever it is. It's got a grid on it, and this has compass directions on it. So what I'm doing now is let's just say I want to go to from where I'm at now. I have Tahquitz Peak marked on my map. This is just a county map. This isn't a Forest Service map. This is like a AAA map, sort of. But what I like about it is it's large scale. So a lot of the maps we have up here at the fire tower are only for areas right inside the national forest, which ends, right there, basically, just on the other side of Thomas Mountain and around toward Black Mountain and over on that direction. So it's kind of cool that this map is a larger scale map. So what I did was I put the center here, the grid, right on top of Tahquitz Peak. And let's see if I want to find Lake Skinner. I can put my straight edge on the crosshairs and move my ruler down to where Lake Skinner is. And then, of course, because I'm bald, I need glasses. And I can look down here, and I can find out that it's at a heading of 235 degrees. So on the map, as long as your map is, the top of the grid is facing north, the zero is facing north, it's about 237 degrees, which according to our Osborne Firefinder, and according to the list we have of peaks and famous landmarks, it's about right. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to practice. I'm going to pick out kind of odd things, and I'm going to shoot an azimuth to it on the map using this little piece of acetate, and I'm going to come up with directions for it. I'm going to come up with an azimuth, a compass heading, and then I'm going to verify it on there. So that'll help me with my my waypoint identification, because when you're calling out a fire from the fire lookout, it's not always going to be in a peak. It's not always going to be on Thomas Mountain or on the top of Black Mountain or on the top of Marion Mountain. It could be in a valley somewhere in between, and you got to be able to kind of pinpoint that. So when you call in the smoke check and they do send somebody out to investigate it, you have to give them a small area so they can pinpoint their focus and be able to spot that fire before it turns into something big. Well, anyway, it's going to keep me busy for a while. I just made some chai latte, so we'll see if this is any good. All up here from the Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout. Well, today the visibility is not nearly as good as it was the last time I was here. Haze, all the area looking to the east from here, looking toward, you can't even see the Salton Sea. You can't even hardly see any of the valley toward Anza-Borrego and out to the Coachella Valley, but it's really, really hazy, and there's even a haze layer out this way. In fact, even out toward Black Mountain.
San Bernardino into 352, Tony.
Anyway, everything out here is getting hazy too, and there's a marine layer that's come in off in the distance, and you can't even see the top of Saddleback right now. So that's a little disappointing. I was hoping to have it be a little clearer today. I was kind of surprised. It's as hazy as it is. There are some interesting clouds forming just to the southwest of Palomar Mountain, and I'll lay that down so it doesn't blow off the deck. A couple of them were vertical, and then they shifted sideways, and then they separated. So now there's just one small cloud that's just sitting there. So it's kind of odd, but you can't see Saddleback anymore. And I mean, you can see Gardner Valley and things like that, but visibility is really not that good. It's nice and cool up here, weather-wise. It's great. It's I just did the afternoon, the 1 o'clock weather, and it was only 61 degrees. And the sun feels great right here. It's a nice little cool breeze. Wind's about 3 miles per hour. The humidity went from 15% this morning to 42% this afternoon. So maybe it's because of the marine layer, who knows. But the other thing I noticed too today is the Black Mountain Fire Lookout is not occupied, not manned today or tomorrow. So I've got the responsibility of not only everything south of Marion Mountain in San Jacinto looking to the west, but now I also I got to keep my eyes open because there's nobody watching that side now, looking over toward the Angeles National Forest and parts of Big Bear. So I'm going to really keep my eye out that direction as well. It's been really dead here today. I've had one visitor. That's my all-time low for hikers. One guy came up here, just one guy. That was it. Came up here about 45 minutes ago. Was up here for about 15 minutes. Got something to eat and headed back down. So anyway, it's been kind of a slow day today. I did get in some good reading. I was reading the operations manual, and I was reading a lot of the facts and history about not only this fire lookout, but the other fire lookouts in the San Bernardino National Forest. That was interesting. Also looked at some of the wildlife, I saw a couple of birds. There was 3 of them today when I was coming up the trail, and they were kind of gray with a white kind of a marking on the back, and they were nuthatches. I'd never seen one of those before. There is a few yellow swallowtail butterflies flying around, and obviously there's chipmunks. One of them actually even came into the fire lookout. I was making some coffee this morning, and I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I looked at it, a little chipmunk ran right into the fire. I had to chase him out. He went down the stairs, doot, 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 all the way to the bottom. But that's it. There's been nobody here. There's been really no wildlife to speak of. I haven't seen any hawks or eagles or even crows, for that matter. Everybody's taking a day off. I guess the holiday was too much for them. But anyway, it is peaceful up here. And even on a bad day, it's a good day up here. Just wish I could see a little more. Anyway, I had about 4 hours left in my shift, then I'll be heading back down the mountain. And hopefully it'll be a nice hike out too today. There's a very, very large bird soaring this way. He hasn't even flapped his wings yet. He's just soaring on the thermals. Actually, he's got something in his talons. He's pretty big. Well, I'm going to do just a quick walk around the tower here, and you can see what the view is today. It's not quite as good as it was the other day. As you work out toward Indio and Coachella Valley out that way, there's a haze layer that has really kind of done a number on everything today. You can make out Santa Rosa and Toro, but not the clearest of days. There's Lake Hemet, Thomas Mountain, Little Thomas Mountain. Palomar Range is way in the distance. And as you work your way around to the right, down there is a little town of Idlewild. Hemet, San Jacinto in the distance. Earlier today, you could see Saddleback, which is Santiago and Majestic Peak, but it's obscured by the marine layer, it looks like. And even Baldy looks like it's get hit with some marine layer as well. You can't see Big Bear at all. And of course, on this side, you have Marion Mountain and Jean Peak and Newton Drury Peak, and eventually Cornell. And that's what's kind of blocking our view from San Jacinto. But yeah, I was hoping for a clear day, but still not too bad up here. Well, some days are exciting and some days are not. Today's one of those not exciting days. Had one visitor this morning before 1 and before noon. And then 2 girls came up about a half hour or so ago, stayed about 5 minutes and left. And that's it. There's not really that great of a visibility. There's one cloud over there and a couple of little small little clouds, and that's really it. Visibility's not that good. You can't see the Salton Sea at all today, which is kind of a bummer. It's kind of clearing a little bit from this direction, but looking toward the beach, you can't even see Saddleback from here. You can barely make out the Palomar Range. There's been No wildlife. There's been a couple of ravens flying around, pair of them. I haven't seen any hawks today at all, not a one. And I'm just kind of thankful it's cooling down because it was kind of getting warm there for a bit. It's 4 o'clock. I got about another hour to go, and then I'll be heading down the trail, back down the Devil's Slide Trail, back to the car. So we'll see what this last hour brings. You know, I got to keep a vigil, which is what I'm here for. So, but every 5 minutes or so, I come out and do a walk around and scan some areas that I can see with the binoculars. But once you get more than about 8 miles out, that's about it. It's all haze, and the binoculars just make it worse. Even the town of Idlewild down below me, it's really hazy. And so anyway, kind of a bummer today, but I guess every day can't be, you know, crystal clear, and every day can't be a wild thunderstorm like last time. So, well, it is what it is. It's still a good day. It's still fun. It's still relaxing. So take advantage of it. You can see the smog layer, or haze layer out there. I don't normally see that. But the clouds are moving pretty quick. But that's about it. So an hour to go. Hopefully the next hour will be uneventful, then I'll head back down. Get home in time for dinner. Well, good morning. This is probably my last hike up to Tahquitz Peak Fire Tower this season. Closes next week. We're into the first week of November, and looks like we're getting a little bit of fall colors here. I had to take a long detour to get here. Kind of really sucked. The Highland Fire is about 2,500 acres, and it's directly in the middle of my route to get here. So I had to go all the way around. Took an extra half hour to get here today. And it was kind of funny because it was in Garner Valley, it was 30 degrees, only 30. And believe it or not, up here at Humber Park is 47, so go figure. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy a little bit of the fall colors at least. Even though it's 5:45. Today's time change too, so that helps. Anyway, I should be up at the top of Strawberry Junction here in about a half hour or so, maybe a little less. I'm going to work my way through Tahquitz Meadow, then up to the fire tower. Into the first week of November. Fall, don't you love it? Well, I made it up to the junction of the South Ridge Trail and the Tahquitz Peak Trail up from Humber Park. I just got a little ways to go to the left here, and I'll be at the top of Tahquitz Peak at the fire tower. I should be there in 5 minutes, and a little early, so I'll have time to take a break before I got to open the fire tower up and take my weather measurements. Well, good morning from the Tahquitz Peak Fire Tower. I made it up here, and I got the weather report done, took all my weather observations. Ran into John King, who's a legend up here in the San Jacinto Mountains. Talked to him for a while, and already had a visitor up here. Talked to him for a bit, and so now I'm going to brew me up a cup of Avalanche caramel latte coffee. It just sounds like it'd be good this morning. It's a little chilly. It's only 58, 59, 57, somewhere in there. But there's a little bit of a breeze, so it's nice to be inside the fire tower. Cuts down the wind a little bit, and then once I get my coffee going here, we go out on the deck, do a once around, and make a point every like 5 minutes or so, do a perimeter check, look for smoke. That's my job up here. So anyway, should be a good day. Well, good morning from the Tahquitz Peak Fire Tower. It's a little breezy up here this morning, and about a 5-7 mile an hour wind. I put the flag up earlier and did a weather check, and it was a little windier. Actually, it feels pretty good. I thought it'd be a lot colder than it is. It's like 59 with somebody talking on the radio here. So I've already had a couple of visitors. My third visitor already today, and kind of surprised. to see this many visitors here. So I'll do a little walk around so you can see what's going on this morning. It's crystal clear. It's a lot clearer than it has been. You got a little bit of sun and wind condition, so. But we're walking around the tower here. There's one of our visitors right there. I'm drinking some coffee from Avalanche. It's really good. We got great views today. You can see out, we had a fire out here just about a week ago, and the Highland fire burned 2,500 acres out that direction there behind me, so I don't see any smoke, so that's good. Well, right now we've got smoke. This is the first time I've seen smoke since I've been up here, and I'm looking through the Osborne Fire Finder, and according to the calculations, it's kind of right about where the doorpost is. Looking through the PEEP site, here I'm at a heading at about 169 degrees on the on the Osborne, and according to what I can look at, looking out the window, it's light gray and building, and it looks like the wind is pushing it from the ocean, from the west, blowing it out to the east toward Anza Borrego. And right now it looks like it's getting a little lighter in color, so I'm hoping they're getting a handle on this. It looks like it's to the east of Hot Springs Mountain and to the right of Cuyamaca Peak, so it's somewhere sort of near Julian. So hopefully they'll get to this pretty quick. I looked at it at air miles. It's about 55, 60 miles from here. So it's too far to call in, and it's not part of the San Bernardino National Forest. It's part of Cleveland National Forest, and they have fire towers on that end as well. They've got one on Hot Springs Mountain. One on High Point Lookout on Palomar, which has a better view than I do. And they also have one on Los Pinos Peak, which is off Interstate 8 in inland San Diego. So they probably got a really good view of it from there. So hopefully they'll get on this and get this out before it turns into some major disaster. But as I'm saying that, I can see a darker column building at the base again. So looks like something's burning. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. It's way off in the distance. It tells you how far away it is as I get to the door here. I'm going to have to zoom in. And you can see the smoke building way off in the distance. It's probably going to be hard to see because it's so hazy, but that's what we got so far. That's looking over Gardner Valley down below there as I'm heading basically due south toward the Mexican border, way off in the distance. But that's a Julian, Laguna Mountain Range over that direction. So that's what they got going on. Hopefully we'll hear something. I'll be able to check the Firewatch app on my phone and see when they pinpoint the location. As of right now, I don't have cell signal. It kind of goes in and out. So when I get a decent cell signal, I'll update you. Well, I've never seen so many people up here. There's lots of hikers up here today, people milling around. Everybody seems to be enjoying the fire tower today. There's people taking selfies all over the place. There's another group down there. I'll tell you what, man, I have never seen it this busy up here at the fire tower. It must have been 30, 40 people show up just after 12. There was a group from Germany, a group from France. There was some kind of a large contingent of people from San Diego that came up. And, I've never seen it this busy up here. There must have been 30, 40 people on every rock, had several people enjoying the day. I got to admit, it's a great day to be up here. Weather is absolutely stunning. It's in the mid-60s. And that cloud in the sky, there's a fire brewing down south of us here. But it's outside of our range. So anyway, I gave out a lot of squirrel cards today. A lot of people really seem to enjoy it up here. A lot of people have never been here before, and they were not familiar with this whole San Jacinto Mountain Range, so they really were liking it. couple of people were doing a loop, doing a 20-mile loop. I haven't seen any backpackers, but I did see two ladies that were heading out that way that were carrying backpacks. So they're sure I'm staying out here somewhere. Most of them are day hikers, and I'm just surprised to see this many people. But I got to admit, it's fall, so yeah, this is the time of year to do your hiking before the snow flies, and everybody seems to be having a good time, and I am too. I enjoy sharing stories and talking about the forest and talking about the different scenic viewpoints from here. Showing them which peak is which and what lake is what, and talking about various trails to get up here. And one guy was asking me what kind of trees those were down there, because I've never seen pine trees like that before. And I said, well, they're limber pines and they're sugar pines. And I was lucky that I actually knew what kind they were. So, but anyway, it's starting to heat up. The sun is going down as we're getting a little later in the afternoon. I do have to get off the fire tower by 3 o'clock today, because today's the first day of time change. So this will be the last day of the season for me. I've enjoyed myself up here at the Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout, and I'm looking forward to coming back up here next year and sharing what I've learned over the season. And hopefully next year will be as eventful as this year, because I've had a really good time up here. If you ever have a chance to become a fire wilderness volunteer and help out the Forest Service, do it, because they need our help. And it's fun. I've enjoyed it. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hiking Journal. My adventures up here this season at the Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout, and my season in the San Jacintos. Well, anyway, I don't know what's coming up next. Hopefully we'll get some good hikes here as fall's coming up. It's a good time to go hiking. Temperatures are going to start dropping, and those fall leaves are calling me. Well, anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye. Well, what do you think about the episode so far, huh? I know you're looking at me right now thinking, what is he, Clint Eastwood? Well, the reason why I'm wearing this is it's not really for fun. It's because I did eventually get shoulder surgery, and I had, for all intents and purposes, a torn rotator cuff, a couple of slap tears, Bankart tear, and Hill-Sachs lesion. So I had quite a bit going on, a bunch of arthritis in the shoulder, and I was getting dislocations all the time. It was dislocating once a month, every month and a half, 2 months. And I was getting a bunch of subluxations in between, so it was just time. I put it off as long as I could, but I thought, you know what, in between the winter and the current fire lookout season, I had to get this done so I'd be ready to go when that fire tower opens. But anyway, in the video, I lost some clips somewhere along the way. I don't know where they went. I haven't been able to find them, but what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit is some of the wildlife that I've seen on my trips up to the fire tower. One of the most interesting things that I've seen so far is a ringtail cat. And on one of the overnight adventures that I did up there at the fire tower, I spent the night at the fire tower, got some great sunset and sunrise shots, and it was also on the Perseid meteor shower night. So that was kind of a bust in itself, even though it was crystal clear skies and no moon. You think that would have been a perfect day for seeing the Perseid meteor showers. But the one thing that did occur is about 10 o'clock at night, well after dark, a young man and his mom hiked up to the top of the fire tower in the dark, and they set up a tent just a little ways off from the fire lookout. And about midnight, because everybody was up, it was me and a couple other people and the other couple, and everybody was up there looking for meteors that night. And the one younger kid, he saw somebody, or he saw something hopping from rock to rock right behind the fire lookout. And so I said, well, what was it? Was it like a coyote or something? You know, I've never seen a coyote at that elevation, especially in the rocks. He goes, no, it looked kind of like a raccoon, but it had a long tail. And I went, oh my God, that's a ringtail cat. And I've never seen one. They're nocturnal, so they only hunt at night. And I've seen photos of some. I've never seen one in the wild. And this young kid happened to be the lucky person to see it hopping from rock to rock. So that's kind of cool. On one of the days, one of my early adventures coming up the South Ridge Trail, I was just a mile from the vehicle. And it wasn't light yet. It was just right around dawn, and I heard this motion coming from me uphill, and this thundering sound. It looked like I heard a buffalo, and it kind of startled me. And then I looked uphill into the trees, and it was a herd of deer, like 4 or 5 deer. They came just full sprint, thundering down the side of this slope, and ran right past me. And I was, not quick enough to get the camera out, so I was kind of bummed about that. But that was kind of cool. And then as I was hiking up, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, what were they running from? So that kind of had me nervous a little bit too. But so there is wildlife up there. There's the ringtail cat. There's deer all over the place. And also, it's kind of a sad thing, but one of the guys I'm familiar with that spends a lot of time hiking in the Southern California area, he actually hiked the South Ridge Trail just a short time after me, and happened to run into some hunters that were successful, and they had a deer on a pole, and they were carrying out a gut deer. So that was kind of sad, because that's a game refuge. Now, I don't know if all of it is a game refuge, or is it just the upper section? I'm not really sure. They could have been legal hunters on public land, but I kind of don't think so. So that was unfortunate. But other than deer, a lot of birds, a lot of raptors, especially at the upper elevations. Every single day I would see red-shouldered hawks. If you've never seen a red-shouldered hawk, those are really impressive. They're big raptors, and they have huge claws, but the whole underside of them is almost like a bright pumpkin orange. It's really cool to see. And, they're soaring right around the tower, so I got a really good look at them. And I shot some video of it, but I can't find it, so I'll look again to see if I can find some of that. And then, of course, my big treat was the golden eagle. I've only seen one. I had heard that they were up there. Oh, Otto's coming in. Hey, buddy. Otto's coming in to say hi. What you doing? Anyway, so Otto's down here, down underneath me there. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? No? He just wants to know what's going on. Well, anyway, the golden eagle, he came up from Lake Hemet and flew back and forth really low and slow over the canyon to the south and west of me, and then worked his way up to the fire tower. And of course, I wasn't quick enough that day either to get a shot of him, but at least I know I've seen one, and now this next season I'll be especially on the lookout for him, and I'll have my camera ready, I hope. But there's hummingbirds up there. There's chipmunks. One ran into the fire lookout. I talked about that a little bit. There's lizards everywhere, and then of course there's snakes. I was warned before I started working at the fire lookout that there's a resident rattlesnake that lives under the fire tower in the rock pile. And they said whenever people come up, they bring their dogs, because dogs are allowed. It's not in the national park, not in a state park. It's actually wilderness. They are allowed to bring their dogs. So they said if the dog is not on leash and he starts sniffing around all those little cubby holes, you got to be careful, because that's where the rattlesnakes hole up in the hot months. And they said make sure the dogs are on leash when they're up there, or they'll get bit. And coming in off the Devil's Slide Trail, coming up to Tahquitz. Now he's just going to lay down. Coming in off that little side trail off the PCT up to the fire tower, I was hiking up. I was almost at the tower, and I had my head down, and I was just cruising, and I was almost there. I was all excited, and I walked right by something at the last second. I happened to look down at my feet, and there was this huge Southern Pacific rattlesnake. He was probably, God, he must have been 5 feet long, and thick as my arm. And he was all curled up, ready to strike right under this rock, and he didn't even rattle. And that just, my heart was just racing. I did get some video of him because I had time. Okay, that scared the shit out of me. Just walking right by the trail. You can see my trail right there. And there's a Southern Pacific rattlesnake right there. Holy shit. Yeah, didn't even see him. The only thing I saw was his tongue. That's what caught my attention. Wow. Doesn't look real big, but he's coiled. He's ready. So, not getting any closer. Okay, go away, little buddy. Yeah, he's pretty good size. Look at those rattles. He doesn't really even rattle. He's going back to his hole. Good boy, get out of the way. And I saw him a couple of times. In fact, even later on that day, I had visitors coming up to the fire lookout And they were saying, yeah, there was a giant rattlesnake. He's laying broadside right across the trail and he wouldn't move. So, and I looked on my video. I took some stills off the video. He had 12 rattles. So that thing had been around a while. So he lives fairly close to the fire tower. I don't know if it's the same one that they call the resident, but he's definitely been there a while. So there are lots of snakes that cruise around up there. And so you have to keep a lookout for them. But those are just some of the things that I've seen at the fire lookout. And I'm looking forward to next season, and I've already gone to the first meeting for 2024. It's called the Reconnect, and I did shoot a video of that, a little bit of it, and the schedule hasn't come out yet, so I can't pick my days yet. And I'm sure the arm will be more than ready to go do. Thank God it's not my legs; it's just my arm. I should be out of this sling in another couple of weeks. I'm in the middle of physical therapy right now, so by June 1st, I would think I would be pretty much ready to go. And that's about Memorial Day weekend. That's about the time the fire lookout is going to open. So I'm looking forward to that. And another good season at the Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout. I was planning on doing some training for Black Mountain so I could be cross-certified and be able to do both. But to be honest, I don't think I'm going to have time this year. I'm just going to focus on the Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout. And maybe I'll get some more good video. And who knows, maybe there'll be a season 2 of the Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout down the road. Well, anyway, as soon as this sling comes off, I could drive the Jeep, because right now I can't because it's a stick shift. And I should be able to go do some more hikes. It's killing me just sitting here in the house. Well, anyway, I'll catch up with you down the road in another edition of the Hiking Journal. Hopefully in a hike in another couple of weeks. Well, anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.